It's New York. It's raining. It's definitely not a day for going on the swings or the slides. So we know what we're going to do. Hello crawlers. Welcome to another crawl around New York. And this time we are following the route that you can find in my book, Historic Pub Crawls Through New York, where we are going to go from Greenwich all the way over to the East Village. We've got some amazing pubs on the route, but of course we do not have amazing weather at all. Oh, I'm just continually getting soaked. By the end of this, I'm almost certainly going to look like a drowned rat. I need to get out of this weather, so let's have a look and let's come to our first pub. We're going to roll the video after this, but you'll know exactly why the first video is a bit of a joke.
This bar claims to pour the best Guinness in the East Coast.
The Hudson Hound is pub number 1 on our Greenwich to East Village route. Let's go inside.
Overlooking the bleaker playground, this modern Irish bar boasts the typical tin ceilings that you can find in a lot of these pubs. And it has a good mix of a typical long New York bar underneath the sports screens and a more intimate, traditional Irish pub feel with walls and shelves stocked full of memorabilia and bric-a-brac. But back to the bar. And whilst they might be proud of their Guinness, so's every other Irish pub in New York. So I went for their red ale, and in this freezing cold weather, there was only one place to stand, right next to the fire. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
Okay, that's right. So as you noticed in the video, I said that this is rumoured to be the best place in Manhattan to get a Guinness, and then they went and poured me a different drink. So we're back, and we should have a Guinness waiting for us just here, if we've timed this right. Just right here. This is definitely going to work. We're not going to edit this because, of course, these routes are all unedited, uncut, and we're just absolutely going to go with the flow because just here. Yes, thank you, Stella. That's amazing. Look at that. Okay, that does look like a serious pint of Guinness. What a great start to what is going to be an incredibly wet pub crawl. Let's have some fun. First pub down, and our next one, which is one of the oldest, the very oldest in New York, the Lights On White Horse Tavern. Let's go and check it out.
This legendary bar is one of New York's oldest.
The White Horse Tavern, it's pub number 2 on our Greenwich to East Village route.
Claiming to be the second oldest continually run tavern in NYC. It opened in 1880 and was originally a longshoreman's bar, catering to the workers from the nearby piers that lined the Hudson River before the land was reclaimed for the more modern buildings. Now, it gained its name from a once popular brand of scotch, and being near Greenwich Village, it became a regular haunt for artists and writers, the most lauded of which was Dylan Thomas, who was a regular in the 1950s, with legend claiming that he had his final drink here, and there's a tribute to him at the back of this pub. But back to the bar, and I love a glass with a handle, so I went for their own ale, which I enjoyed in this place that has served beers to the likes of Bob Dylan, Jim Morrison, and Hunter S. Thompson before me. Next time you're near, stop here for a beer.
Oh, I got it for you.
Oh, you got it? Yeah. No, it's done. We got it. And we got 2.
Yeah.
You're going to have a pint with me then? Come on, we got a pint. Right, what should we see in this space then?
Well, you definitely can't miss the Dylan Thomas room.
Yep.
But yeah, this is where Dylan Thomas drank himself to death, as they all know it.
Yeah.
He sat right here at this bar.
Responsible drinking, kids.
All right. We actually have a Dylan Thomas cocktail. It's a double Jack Daniels with a water back on the side.
There's absolutely no irony in that whatsoever.
People love it. But yeah, come follow me.
Yeah, let's go.
So this is the Dylan Thomas room right here. We have one of his poems up in the mirror. People love taking photos there. We have one of his portraits over here, super cool, and a couple more of his things over there. But yeah, this is our room.
Have you got the iconic sign in here as well?
No, it's down.
No?
The plaque, you mean?
Oh, which one? What have you got?
We had a plaque where he was like used to sit,
Yes.
but it's no longer.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I suppose that's even more ironic sitting in that seat as well.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your name, by the way?
My name is Ida.
Okay, and you're quite new here?
Yes, I am. I've been here for 2 months now.
Okay.
But people walk in all the time asking about Dylan Thomas and asking me questions all the time. But we get poetry clubs all the time, book clubs. It's so nice.
Right?
Yeah, they love it.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for showing us around.
Yeah, of
This
course.
is genuinely one of the oldest pubs in New York.
Yes.
I'll drink to that. Cheers.
Cheers.
On this route, our camera assistant today joining us is the lovely Jade. Now, Jade also knows this area quite well that we're going through. What are the highlights do you think we can expect on this crawl?
Yeah, totally. I mean, West Village, it's got so much to see. There's so much history here. Like, there's Washington Square Park, which we're probably going to walk past. And then there's also the Friends apartment, which like lots of tourists walk past. You can go and see.
Obviously, love a bit of Friends.
And there's a restaurant actually below Friends called Little Owl. That's really delicious
Okay.
too. Yeah, and then right down the street from there, there's like one of, I think, the narrowest building in New York City, which is only 9.5 feet wide. And it's been lived in by a couple celebrities. I'm forgetting their names right now. But yeah, it used to be a horse-drawn carriage trail.
Yeah.
And they just filled that space in with a building. So
Right,
it's
okay.
interesting.
Well, we'll try and remember to try and look for that.
Yes.
And hopefully by the time we get to it, we'll have worked out who might have lived there in the past.
Totally.
Right, pub number 2, cheers.
Cheers.
Our 2 pubs down, and we are showing all of our resilience today, surviving this New York weather. It is so misty, like even the small skyscrapers here, you can't really see the top of them. I did walk past the edge at Hudson Yards earlier, which is supposed to be the highest lookout point in New York, and like you couldn't even see the top of it, so it would have been an absolute bust if you've got tickets to go to that. But we know time for that. We've got pubs to go to. And our next one is just here. It's the Galway Hooker. They should be expecting us. Let's go in and get a beer.
Wow, check out this New York Irish pub.
The Galway Hooker. It's pub number 3 on our Greenwich to East Village route. I'm getting out of this sun.
New York is no stranger to an Irish pub, and as you walk inside, this deceptively large bar is covered in pictures and flags and wouldn't be out of place at the heart of Dublin. It is actually named after the type of traditional fishing boat that's more common off the west coast, which were traditionally painted in pitch, leaving a striking black appearance underneath dark red sails. When the Irish moved to Boston, boats became known as Boston hookers, Irish cutters, or paddy boats. But back to the bar, and I went for a Blue Point lager before settling in the only place that a Londoner who's in New York reviewing Irish pubs could possibly be. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
Yeah, this is literally the quietest you'll ever see this bar. Like, we've got you basically just before you've opened, haven't we? I'm going to go and sit in you know what. Look at this. Oh. What about that, eh? Fantastic. It is cold, it is wet. And that's the beer I'm talking about. Tell you what, I'm going to follow me up. I'm going to take you upstairs. Is that upstairs open? Can I have a quick look?
Oh yeah, if you want, you can just run up. I don't think the lights are on right now, but you can take a look if you want.
Yeah, I just want to see the, because you sometimes have a DJ on the top, right? Yeah. So I just want to show that for the video. Because these guys have a DJ booth, which will basically never pass health and safety, ever. So we'll, obviously we're getting in here whilst it is dark and closed, so we've got the lights. Oh, it's not too bad, it's quite light. Yeah, you tell me, in this room, where you think the DJ booth is. I'll give you a clue. There's a ladder.
Oh, it's up on the second floor. There you go.
Can you imagine seeing a DJ up there? I mean, that thing is almost vertical.
Yeah,
like that is seriously dodgy, but a lot of fun. Nice bar, isn't it? This is such a significant spot. Now, for the English, you might have been aware of the charity Stonewall, which looks after LGBTQ plus rights. But actually, the name comes from exactly where we are right now. So we're in a park just outside the Stonewall Inn, which is where we're going to go. This was the location of the Stonewall riots in 1969, which is probably the most, I suppose, the most pivotal moment in in gay rights and that movement. And so, you know, you can't possibly come to here without at least coming to this point and acknowledging love is love, look after people, be kind.
There's no pub that changed the US as much as this one.
Stonewall Inn. It's pub number 4 on our Greenwich to East Village route, and this is a legendary place.
Renowned as the birthplace of the modern LGBTQIA+ movement, it was here in the early hours of the 28th of June 1969 when the pub's patrons resisted a police raid that descended into what became the Stonewall Uprising. Now, prior to this, living as an openly gay, lesbian or bisexual person was largely illegal in the United States, with establishments like this pub serving as a rare haven for the community. Back to the bar, and in this dimly lit, intimate setting that regularly hosts live music and drag acts, I went for the Stonewall IPA from Brooklyn Brewery, which donates some of the revenue back to the charity. Next time you're near, stop here for a beer.
We are on and we are braving the weather. And I thought we might see a bunch of fans hanging around here, but not, because obviously it's so wet. I'm already soaked through, because this corner is significant. Now, up there is the exterior of the flat that was in Friends. I think. Everyone tells me it is. I couldn't genuinely tell you if it was or it wasn't. But I'm judging by the fact that, look, there's masses of people over here, and there's people here, and they're all looking up, and they're all taking photos of that, and it is supposed to be around here, then this is it. This is the one. This is the pub crawl. This is that thing they always do, the one with, right?
Yeah,
This pub crawl is the one with the Friends flat in it, and the awful fucking weather. Let's see if we can find some fans to talk to. Like who you are, like where you're from, and like, I don't know, tell me something fun about Friends kind of thing. So who's going first?
Okay, so I'm Aisha Patel. I'm from New York, and I love Rachel the most. And I related to Phoebe the most, but I like the Rachel style.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so if you're local, how many times have you stood on this corner looking up at this flat?
I think this is the third time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just third time.
Okay, and you've brought a guest with you today, so
Yeah.
you're
Hi.
Friends fanatic, who are you?
My name is Yash and I'm from California. This is my first time to be here and feeling very good to see the building. Like I have watched this only for the one time, but really good to be here.
What's your favourite Friends moment then?
The favorite part is where I forgot the name, when he convinced the girl at the end.
The airport scene.
Oh, the
Yeah,
happy,
yeah,
end,
yeah.
the
Instead of
happy
the
ending,
ending.
the happy
Instead of New
ending.
York
Yeah.
airport, he went to the JFK.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
That's
he
it.
comes back
All
and
at-
everything. Yeah.
all
Okay,
Yeah.
so you think that it ended on quite a good note
Yeah.
then?
Yeah.
Though Joey deserved a better ending still. Yeah, still.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
worries.
And you must be real fanatics to stand here, because this rain is absolutely horrible for us, isn't it? So
We're
yeah,
the friends, so yeah.
thank you. We've got some new friends today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, we are soaking wet now at this point, and we are behind the tiny house. Like, that is how narrow. I'll just get that. That is how narrow this house is.
9.5 feet wide.
9.5 feet wide. It's actually number 75.5. It's so small that it's got its own little tiny address. We're struggling a little bit with sound, so I think we're going to warm up in the next pub, which is coming up. Because even the mic has stopped working now at this point because everything is too wet.
Oh,
and we're only, what are we, like 5 pubs in?
About 5 pubs,
Five pubs in, right? So we've got plenty more to go today. So we need to warm up, have a pint, and the answer to who is famous that lived at this house is, we still can't remember it. So it's going to come up, it's going to come up at the end of the video if we remember to add that into the video. Or it'll just be a mystery. Or you can Google it yourself.
Do you know which TV show this New York apartment features in? I'd have never have spotted it if it wasn't for the crowds opposite. That's right, it's the Friends apartment. But we've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to.
The Village Tavern is pub number 5 on a Greenwich to East Village route. Let's go inside.
Just around the corner from the origin of the Stonewall movement and the riots, past this sign for the most ironic graffiti ever, sits this corner pub at a busy intersection with its lively atmosphere, with a bunch of massive TVs that you can imagine goes absolutely mental when there's a game on. Banter from the barmaid was relentless, all in good jest. And in the end, I went for a pint of Ebbs. Next on the stop, went down this famous street and the iconic guitar shop that was featured in the Cannes award-winning documentary. So I was a bit of a fanboy walking into this place, just seeing all of these incredible guitars that had been handmade from all the old discarded wood from around the city.
We're rewalking all of the routes. And so we're filming like outside of the pub, and then we're going into the pub and saying, you know, like, let's over a drink, tell us a little bit about the bar. So I was hoping I'd get you to be able to say something about it.
Well, you know what I would suggest? Let's see, do you want to stay local? The Brooklyn Brown Ale is so-so. What I really do like, although it's not local to New York City, did you try the Trumer? No, you did not. The Trumer Pilsner is a German-style Pilsner. It's brewed in Berkeley, California, but it is very light, crisp, refreshing. And at the very end of the finish, it has almost a lemon note. But the brown ale is local to Brooklyn Brewery. What else do we have? Oh, Industrial Arts. They call it Eddie Beer. That's a lager. And that is brewed in Brooklyn.
Okay. All right, we'll go for one of those. You're amazing. Thank you so much. It's so nice to see you again. Next time. I'll be back.
I follow you on Instagram, so I'll message you if I make it over to London, and we'll have a pint on the same side of the bar.
We will definitely do that on the same side of the bar. You're so wonderful. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I mean, I'm more of a cat lady, but only because of laziness.
Yeah.
I mean, I love dogs, but a lot more maintenance.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same thing.
You know, and I feel a little bit worse, you know, if I don't go and walk the dog. I was watching a dog last week, and I was like, I'm lazy. And then I just kept looking at the dog, and I'm like, don't walk the fucking dog.
Yep, okay, we're on Carmen Street. This is the famous Carmen Street Guitars. They're closed at the moment, which is a real shame. Otherwise we'd pop in, but it's a Sunday, so that's probably why. These guys were, you can check out the documentary. It is available. There's a whole film made about this. They take a lot of the old reclaimed wood from like the old railways and the old buildings as they got knocked down, and then they turn them into some beautiful guitars. And they've had some of the, honestly, some of the most legendary guitarists have picked up an instrument from here. I've been in here before. It is really, really worth popping in and seeing these guys. It's an absolute treat. Yeah, one day, like, life goals to own a guitar that these guys have made from proper New York wood. It's stunning. It's really, really stunning. And wet. It's like double wet. Right, we are pub number 6. We're going to roll the video. That's going to come up next. We're going to go and see these guys. They are like New York's first Bitcoin bar. So if you come follow me, this is a proper like dive bar. They were a lot of fun last time we were here. Hopefully they're expecting us. And hopefully we're going to get a chat with someone who can tell us and explain to us how Bitcoin's going to apparently change the world. Here we go.
Past this quintessential image of NYC is the city's only Bitcoin bar.
Pubkey is number 6 on our Greenwich to East Village route.
This cleverly branded basement bar looks to jump on the hype of crypto bros, although Bitcoin is actually the only payment type it doesn't take. The ambiance is everything you would expect in a New York dive bar, but it's highly stylized, with branded merchandise all throughout, a long and well-stocked bar, and a surprisingly large area out back with skylights, either to watch the sport or perhaps have a disco. It's also here where they keep all of the barrels out in the open. A phone booth bizarrely takes exact change only. And the recording booths are their podcasts, where they say they aim to create a community around the bar that's as much about producing content and media as it is about coming in and grabbing a beer and a shot. I grabbed myself a pint of their on-brand, at least that's what they said. Now, there's something going on here. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
So what are we going for?
On brand
Pubkey's.
lager. This is our recommended lager.
Pubkey's own brand lager, on brand. Look at that. And so this is New York's first Bitcoin bar, probably only Bitcoin bar.
Definitely
Is
only.
another one? Okay, this is the only one. How long has it been going? Do you remember?
It's been going great. We're usually packed. I would say about 25% of people pay in Bitcoin, which is pretty huge.
Yeah, but I mean, you must end up buying like a lot of lagers with one Bitcoin.
Yeah, a lot of lagers for sure. And mostly Guinness, big Guinness
Okay.
drinkers.
Okay, you heard it here first. Bitcoin owners like Guinness.
Yeah.
What's your name?
I'm Kristen.
Kristen, I'm Thomas.
Nice
so,
to meet you.
how long have you been working here then, Kristen?
Since March, so a year.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Did you get any interesting people coming in? Any stories? Anything you can share?
Oh God, we get a ton of interesting people in here all the time. It's kind of all walks of life. We have a huge Bitcoin crowd. But we're also situated here in the West Village of New York, so we get locals, we get tourists, NYU kids, and they all kind of smash together in one cute, tiny little bar.
It is cute. It is cute. It is tiny. I mean, it's not. I'm just selling it a little bit. It's not completely tiny. 'Cause
Yeah, we got a whole
we're gonna
backstage.
have a look at the back, right? Because there's a whole bit at the back here, which is very different. Look, you can see. Look, you basically they're brewing everything here. That's the podcast suite, and then look, you've got this. Like, I mean, this is a surprisingly big area for a for an underground dive bar, basically. It's pretty cool. We did walk straight past the
This was that.
the
case
podcast
that
studio.
was like a knife case, but it has margarita shit in it.
They
It's
actually
like
run
some
podcasts out of
random
here?
thing. There's like a nice knife.
But
in
the
it.
idea of paying for a pint with a Bitcoin is nuts. You know, there's stories about people that maybe bought a pizza or something. Remember, like with like half a Bitcoin, like 20 years ago, and all of a sudden they're now like a billionaire on paper. So we just left Pubkey, where we have learned that some people actually buy beers using 0.0000001 of a Bitcoin, but there were what do they call them?
Mega.
What do they call the people that buy the excessive stuff?
Oh, Maxi.
Maxis. So there's something in the Bitcoin community called Maxis, which are people who've got so much money, albeit it's on paper and it's electronics, it's not real money, that they spend their money on the $100 drinks that Pubkey do, as well as many other excessive things in their life. Obviously, that's not us. We are exploring a variety of different bars. And this one, after walking through Washington Square Park, is a sports bar. Last time we filmed this, there had been a Man City game on. They're the official, like Man City, New York, and New York City Football Club fan thing. Anyway, it was hectic then. It looks a lot quieter now. We're going to go in, we're going to have a look. We're going to roll the video that we shot last time, and then we'll see if we can have someone for a chat before we wander off to the next pub.
Their season stinks, but this bar rocks.
Amity Hall is pub number 7 on our Greenwich to East Village route.
Named after the famous street that sits at the heart of Greenwich Village, this lively bar, set across several levels, is the official home to Manchester City's branch of NYC supporters. And although this once great team spent the 24-25 season stinking the place out, that's no reason to avoid here. Back to the bar, and since we rocked up not long after a game, the crowds might have dispersed, and it was still pretty busy to film, and I'd got no idea what they served me. So cheers to all those glory hunters. And who cares where you're from, and this is the destination.
The Man City collective at that pub were rather sensitive for the video that you've just watched, where I said that their season, in which they lost 5 games in a row for the first time, and as being champions in the past and Champions League winners, are languishing at sort of upper mid-table in the Premier League after being absolutely appalling for most of the season, was probably a little bit too much for them to take. So let's not let these little sensitive sunshines, get in the way of too much of what we're going to do for the rest of the crawl. We're going to move on to the next pub, but first I'm going to flip the camera around, and we've got Jade, who knows lots of stuff about where we are right now, who's going to give us a little bit of history about the area before we go on to the next pub.
So we're in Washington Square Park right now, one of the most prominent parks in New York City, one of the most iconic. There's been so many films and TV shows that have been filmed in this park. Students here all the time. It's like an arts epicenter, like so many things. During Pride in June, you got a lot of people using the lawn, a lot of people in the fountain, which actually the fountain used to be, I think, more raised, and then the city decided to lower it a little bit, so it became more of an artist's oasis, especially for all the eras of all the artists that live in West Village and beyond. The park was named after George Washington, if I'm not mistaken, but it used to be an area that was acquired, I think, by the city commission or some entity in the city that was used for, I think, executions, public executions.
Oh, wow.
So there's a tree somewhere in this park called the Hangman's Tree because of the executions that were going on here. So
that's pretty grim, because this used to be one of the most expensive residential places to live around this park.
Yes, totally. Yeah, no.
Most people like to see someone get murdered.
Exactly. And Fifth Avenue actually used to run through the park, but there's a point in history where all the people in the neighborhood kind of complained, probably because of how dangerous it is, because it kind of used to be a circle. All this pavement that you see here was drivable, basically. All the buses, carriages from way back when used to go through here. But at a certain point, people in the city were like, we can't do this anymore. Like, you've got to close up the street. So now it's a proper park and a super popular place for everybody in the city to hang out.
It is. I have a feeling as well that although in Ghostbusters, the building where everything happens at the end is in Central Park.
Right.
I actually think that is the building.
Yep.
I think that's the one that was used for Ghostbusters, and then they just pretended that it was next to Central Park because, let's not let the truth get away with a good story.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Right, let's go on to the next pub.
Let's go.
This is what a bunch of TikTokers demonstrating in a New York park looks like. We've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to.
Josie Woods is pub number 8 on our Greenwich to East Village route. It's down these stairs. Let's see what it's like.
This underground sports bar has a reputation as a frat boy pub, and it's got an impressive 14 HD TVs throughout the pub. I turned up on game day weekend. These guys weren't paying too much attention as someone was hustling someone on the pool table. It's got some interesting memorabilia on the walls of branded cigarette tins and beer trays. There's a decent selection of drinks, but like a lot of places in New York, they were keen to pour me a Guinness.
So this is the Astor Cube. It was installed, I think, in 1967, and it was only supposed to be a temporary installation, I suppose a bit like the O2 Millennium Dome was going to be in London, or the Big Wheel. And it was petitioned by the residents of the city to keep it here forever. It's now a permanent installation. One of the funniest photos I've ever seen of this on the internet was part of the big Halloween fancy dress parade in New York, where there is actually a photo, you can probably find it, of someone dressed up as the Cube. I think I think it turns. Oh, Jesus, so heavy. Oh. There's no time for that. We've got pubs to go to. Here's some random things you see in New York Part 1. There's some shoes just there in the middle of the floor.
New Yorkers can't shut up about this famous bar.
It's McSorley's. It's pub number 9 on our Greenwich to East Village route. Let's go and get a beer.
One of the most famous bars in New York City. Its distinctive frontage has appeared in paintings across the world. You've got to get here before it opens to see it this quiet. And whilst the exact opening date is contentious, the decor's been largely untouched since 1910. But it's impossible to miss the sad tale of the wishbones left for luck by departing World War I soldiers who've never returned. And when it opens, you can barely see its sawdust floors because this place is always rammed. Now, your choice of drinks here is either light beer or dark, and it famously comes in pairs with almost as much foam as the good stuff. I'm sure Greg tapped me on the shoulder on purpose as I was drinking, and this atmosphere just seems to have that level of playfulness. It was the last men-only pub, only admitting women after legally being forced to do so in 1970. Prior to the ruling, its motto was good ale, raw onions and no ladies. Now, it's 2 mottos. We were here before you were born and be good or be gone. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
And that was it. That was one of the most famous pubs, one of the oldest in New York. It was an absolute pleasure to film McSorley's. Loved it. We're just heading to the final 2 places now, and we are walking through, I'll tell you, the village that we're walking through, the colours on here, and we've got a couple of flags behind us, and then if we keep walking we can see on this shop front, probably gives it away that we are in the Ukrainian Village, which has been here a long time. And of course, you know, that's something that you always see in New York, right? Just like London, it is an absolute mishmash of people from everywhere, all coming into one place.
Ready to go for the final.
Yeah.
It's her. Oh, look at this. Oh, thank you so much. Absolutely. I hope you told everyone what your name was, so that we know who this fantastic man is who's poured this amazing wine.
Oh, no, my name is Jade. I mean, I just work here. I work in Grafton. I love this place. This place is a second home to me. It's more than just a shop. I love, you know, what makes this place so great is that, I mean, right now we got the Genesis Golf Tournament. You got AC Milan versus Dymphna. You got tennis, college basketball. You know, if you love sport, this is a great place to be. And, you know, we'll always get, you know, even if you're looking for New Zealand versus, you know, Tanzania or something, we will have it, and if you get it up for you, we'll put it on for you.
It was talked up. It looks like a good pine. Oh, looks like a cracking pine. Not bad. Because, you know, there's nothing like standing on a street corner in New York in the cold. But we've had an absolutely wonderful pub crawl. This is the final pub that we're heading to. You've seen some of the other videos. You might recognise there's a slight crossover with one of our other routes, which is from Union Square to Alphabet City. So we're kind of at the edge now of like Alphabet City, just the other side of this park. We're in the East Village now. We're heading to our final pub. It's another Irish pub because, you know, most of them are in New York, and they are expecting us. So let's go in, get ourselves a beer. Oh, you see the steam coming out of my mouth. I'm so cold. I'm so cold now. I could definitely do with a pint, and then we'll wrap up the video. Hopefully talk to one of the team here.
You won't hear a sadder tale than this.
St Dymphna's. It's the final pub on our Greenwich to East Village route. It was quite quiet for a change.
Located at the edge of East Village, this pub shares its name with the 7th century patron saint for mental health professionals, as poor Dymphna was just 14 when her mother died and when her father was pressed to remarry someone as beautiful as his first wife. He set his sights on his daughter. Now, thankfully, she fled to Geel in Belgium, where she built a hospice for the sick before she was brutally beheaded without reason some years later. Back to the bar, and in her honour, I went for a pint of Guinness. And don't forget to check in on your mates.
It's nice and warm in here. It's exactly what we like.
Exactly.
It's been a very wet day. I tell you what, it feels very cold when you're absolutely soaked through like I am. We started over in the West Village, so started at Hudson Hound. Went to White Horse, obviously one of the oldest in the city.
Right, that is.
Which was a lot of fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed, and then Stonewall was good.
Yeah.
Stonewall was good, you know, obviously really significant. We got to see the Friends apartment, which was again, a lot of fun, even in the rain. There were people standing out there. Thank you so much. There were people like standing in the rain, like looking up at the apartment. That was pretty crazy. And then, yeah, well, you know, McSorley's was always a classic.
They have they only do like stout and.
They do two, yeah, light and dark. Like they just call it light and dark.
Yeah. Awesome.
And they just like live with it, light or dark. Yeah. And they pour it so quickly that half of it's foam. Right. So they just give you two for the price of one because they're like, you know, like you get half a glass, you might as well have two.
Right, yeah. No, it's awesome. That place is cool. I've only been there one time. But for the owner, Brendan, I've been working for him for like over a year at his other spot, which is, it's not a pub, it's like an event venue. So, but yeah, I've been here consistently for like almost 4 months. Yeah. But yeah, this bar's been around, you know, since like the 90s. So it's been a staple of East Village for sure. Yeah. And, you know, it used to be around the corner. I wasn't there at that time, you know. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Any stories in particular or not?
Well, I mean, I told you the story when I came in to film this, like back in January last year. And like a bunch of underage kids walked in, and the guy behind the bar just went, "Get out! I don't need to see your fake ID. Get out!" All of them were so ready to like get out, clearly like their fake ID, and have an argument about it and kind of kick off. Yeah. Just get out.
I mean, I had to get some people.
And you have the world's most fearsome guard dog walking around. Where's she gone?
Georgie.
She's behind the bar. She's working behind the bar now. Oh, now you're. No. Oh. What no one knows is that Jade's got some of like the camera stuff in like a bum bag, fanny pack thing at the front here, which is actually designed for dog walkers. So like there's a little bell and oh, look at this. Cheers. Here we go. So we're wrapping up the pub crawl in St Dymphna's. She was canonised. She's actually the patron saint for mental health professionals. Yeah, but that's obviously not why we're here. We're here for beer, and thank you for joining us on this route. We've had an absolutely fantastic time. We've come all the way from Greenwich. We've seen some amazing pubs. It's been a very, very wet afternoon. I'm totally soaked through.
Yep.
Like, yeah, it was a bit of a disaster at one point. I think we were standing outside like Stonewall Inn, weren't we? And like we walked out of that, and it was like bucketing it down.
Yeah, that was like an hour ago.
Yeah, like we were like, yeah, it was really, really rough.
Yeah, that was intense.
But it's a great route. It's only taken us probably like about 45 minutes of walking throughout the whole route. We've got 11 amazing pubs in there, so that's been a lot of fun. You know, the New York road trip continues. Thank you for getting this far and liking, subscribing, commenting, doing whatever you want to do, or just watching this far, and sharing some love for some of the amazing historic pubs that are throughout New York. You can pick up the books and tell us where you think we should go next. Right, cheers.
Cheers.